can we be honest for a second? The college football playoffs has been so exciting. This 12 team format is exactly what we waited for. And for anybody who tries to argue that these games, the first round games weren't that exciting because they were blowouts, I would like to take a look at the NFL playoffs, which I'm pretty sure the wild card weekend has wrapped up when I put this video out. Teams got blown out in that, and no one said this team didn't, the Chargers didn't belong to be here. No one says the Steelers didn't belong to be there. So for everyone who thinks that your Indianas, your Arizona States, your Clemsons, your SMUs didn't belong to be there, shut up. I don't want to hear it. They absolutely deserve to be there. But this 12 team format has probably been the best thing ever for college football. I know they thought about 8. They'll probably expand it to 14 at some point. But this 12 team format this year was perfect. Now, I do have thoughts on how it can go better, but I want to break this down just for a second. Let's think about who's playing in the national championship. Number 8, Ohio State. Number 7, Notre Dame. These are two teams that in the 14 playoff era wouldn't even been considered for the college football playoff. Then on top of that, both of these two teams have great defenses. This has probably been the old moniker defense wins championships rearing its ugly head. When Ohio State played Texas in the Cotton Bowl, Jack Sawyer had his moment in the sun with the scoop and score. And then when Notre Dame played Penn State, Notre Dame defense comes up with a late game interception that leads to a game winning field goal. So those two games in the semifinals were perfect. But then we also had fun games leading up to it. Who would have thought Arizona State versus Texas would have probably been the best bowl game out of this college football playoffs up until this moment, probably? I think, at least for me, I still think it's probably my favorite bowl game. Yes, we have other great games. But then the game that we were waiting for, the rematch of the Rose Bowl, we finally got to see this Ohio State $20 million roster kick it in overdrive. Like, yeah, they beat the smack out of Tennessee, but the way they just dismantled Oregon, oh my goodness. So, in this era of college football, in this 12 team format era, this has probably been the best. And to the people who say Indiana shouldn't be there, I want to note that the teams that are in the national championship right now are two teams beat Indiana, which is Indiana's only two losses. They lost in the regular season to Ohio State, and they lost in the college football playoff to Notre Dame. Boom. Indiana deserved to be there. Winning matters. So for everyone else who wanted to argue for your 9-3 Alabama team or Ole Miss or South Carolina, no, it's fine. SMU earned their way there. Undefeated in ACC play, only to lose in the conference championship. That's their only conference loss. So they have two losses on their schedule. Every team that was there proved in some form or capacity that they not earned but deserved and were the best teams there. Now, I do have a little way we could fix this going forward. And again, this was the first year. It was a prototypical model. It was a prototype model to begin with. They are going to change it. We could see restructures and seeding, which I'm okay with that. But I do want it to be clear if they do this, I still want conference champions to matter because I want the conference championship game to matter. So I want your conference champion to still be able to afford the luxury of either a home game or a bye week. But I do think reseeding would benefit a little bit differently. But also in this 12 team playoff era, every team that got the bye did not advance. Georgia got thumped by Notre Dame. Boise got thumped by Penn State. Texas went to the gauntlet with Arizona State, and Ohio State ran away with it against Oregon. So seeding may matter. It may not matter. I think we should give the number one and the number two seeds probably the NFL model or the prototypical sports model where lowest ranked seed plays them if they advance, and that kind of helps balance out these games. But other than that, I've had so much fun watching these. And back to the national championship, we're watching Marcus Freeman, one of the youngest coaches in college football. He just turned 39, I believe. He's now playing for a national championship. And how about doing something that Brian Kelly couldn't do? He has more top 10 wins than Brian Kelly does at Notre Dame. That's freaking cool. But also, how Notre Dame has won this year has been pretty amazing. The defense has been stout. Xavier Watts on the defensive secondary, he's been locking things up. Jeremiah Love at running back, he's been fantastic. Riley Leonard, he's been magical, taking a huge step forward than he from his Duke years. And this is coming off the injury where he didn't have much time with this team. So that's been fun. And then Ohio State, the $20 million roster, and that two Ohio State national championship coaches said that Ryan Day has the best roster they've ever seen. Can we talk about pressure and getting Chip Kelly in the offseason, getting Jeremiah Smith, the freshman, having 4 or 5 year guys come back? And a lot of people talked about this, and I do think that's key. We talk about it being a $20 million roster, and we talk about the transfers that they get. And Julian Sands, who's the incoming freshman who came in from Alabama, which is still out on how he's considered a transfer. You get Caleb Downs, you get Quinshon Junkins. Like we list off a lot of big names. Will Howard, he was a transfer, but a lot of it wasn't roster retention. Jack Sawyer, JTT, that defensive line, the offensive line. You have to give credit for this $20 million roster being mostly on keeping the players that was there to run it back. And the formula may start to be is have these guys who grow through this program to be the core nucleus, and then just get a couple transfers to sprinkle it out, and those be the key guys. We saw it with Ohio State the year before, and we're possibly going to see it again with Michigan. And I've been a huge fan. So with all that I say this, the 12-team college football playoff model has been a resounding success, and in my eyes, I would say damn near perfect. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments. Do you like the 12-team playoff model? Do you think they should expand it? And if they do you think they should change some things? Let me know in the comments, and I'll get your thoughts at the end of this video.